How many people in this room have been here have been in business, 5 years or more? All right. You're in business, in the design business, you're in 5 years or more. A very, very high percentage of your business should be repeat or referral. Is it? Okay. Now, that's another presentation that I did last time. But do what you can do for those repeat or referral clients and keep them in the loop. There's a memory decay. When somebody buys something from you, right afterwards, they become, for a short period of time, almost evangelistically, they're your advocate. They'll go out and tell people, I just have my windows on. Exciting windows, they're absolutely great. And that lasts for a while. And then there's a little bit of a wear down on that. And then they're at a cocktail party and some people were talking about window treatment. Somebody said, why? I had exciting windows, do mine. So they volunteered that information. And you go another 6 months and somebody might ask them, but they wouldn't have volunteered it. Then you get out over a year, and it's like in the beginning, they'd hear a conversation across the room, and they're in the conversation. Now it's a year later, and they don't even notice. It's called selective distortion is the word for that. Well, you can have an impact on that. The more you keep the person in the loop, the more you keep a contact. The thing came out. I was in the meeting yesterday, but this is such a good meeting for me, when you, after 35 years of hanging those things on the doors, you see them this professional now. This is wonderful. No more rubber bands for anybody anymore. We're doing it the right way. But when I saw the sweepstakes come out, I thought, it's nice. It's a great idea. I could see how it would just churn up a lot of interest. But what I would also do is take your A-list customers. If you sat in on the preferred client strategy, the yellow ball customers, take your A-list customers. And at first I thought I would send it to them and say, look, I want you to know about this because this is coming up. And then somebody said, well, wouldn't they take it the wrong way? And I said, no, they won't take it the wrong way, but you're right, not just send it to them. Send it to them and tell them you filled it out for them. You're already included in the contest. I mean, why not? These are your A-list customers. Why would you ever want your A-list customer not to get the benefit? And I don't know what the rules are, but let's say their house is done. Can they give it to their kids? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they can do something like that. But if they win, what a great thing for your A-list customer. The reason why you're doing it is not to raise their expectations that they're going to win, because everybody knows how that works with lotteries. But what you're going to do is you're keeping yourself top of mind. You're staying right in front of them. You're extending that good experience that they already had with you. And in fact, you're even confirming, the idea that you care enough to do that. And that's not the only thing I would do. The Christmas cards and the other holiday cards and all that sort of stuff, I would do all of it. But your job is to capture and retain customers. All right. Your clients gather information in very predictable ways. Your client, your segment, not the world. Younger people do things one way. Next generation, older, more financially stable people do stuff a little bit differently, and so on and so forth. There's a huge group of people out there that are in the need of the products that you sell, that use word of mouth, friends, relatives, and neighbors. They are fantastic networkers. Anybody read the book, and you referred to it this morning, Steve, when you said a virus. Anybody read the book called The Tipping Point? Well, it's a wonderful book, and you just saw an example of what's those awful looking, no, that's in the book. Those awful looking, rubbery, plastic looking sandals, what? Crocs. Now, I have not seen any national advertising on Crocs. I don't think there ever was any. But yet, all of a sudden there was like people from the moon surrounding me, walking everywhere, with these things on their feet. Little kids, old kids. Then I even heard something on the news that little kids on escalators, it's dangerous. And that's the closest I heard on television with some warning about them. But like half the country has a product and nobody did any advertising on it. And in this book called The Tipping Point, it all has to do with friends, relatives, and neighbors. And trends that we don't like, hip-hop, if you like or don't like it, maybe that's a bad one that gets a lot of action. But there's a lot of products that get adopted in the marketplace by this whole idea of networking. And in there are certain people you go to. in your sphere of friends and influence, when you want to know something, you go to certain people. For example, your accountant you would go to when you have an important financial question. And people at the high end, as a matter of fact, I used to use this example. How am I doing? I don't want to go too much longer, but there's, I was contrasting once between a high-end person needing financial services and my mother. No disrespect to my mom, she was the greatest. But when a high-end person, or when my mom once, and my mom was sort of a middle market need for financial stuff. So when my mother wanted financial information, she would trot herself down to the bank. She would select her advisor through the greatest selection process known to man, random chance. She'd stand in line and see who would come up next. And then there was some person called a bank officer, and she'd go over and see, she'd ask for whatever she wanted, she'd get it, and she'd be out. All of a sudden now, Mr. Gottrock's here. He wants a little financial advice because he's got a couple million he wants to stick away. He doesn't like just look in the yellow pages. He'd go to your accountant, right? You discuss, you talk, and who you're going to talk about, and then you finally get to the right guy and you get the right financial advice. And I was using another example the other day is if you're really in trouble, guys, you ever been in trouble with your lady? Ever?
When am I not in trouble?
And you say, well, you know, I got to do something here. We're going to go to New York. I'm going to take her to New York, go to a show, do the whole thing. I need a really romantic restaurant. I mean, this is the time I really got to get the right restaurant. So what I'm going to do is go to New York, nice hotel, got everything ready, and now it's time for dinner. You got to go pick the restaurant. You're going to immediately open up the door in the room, pull out the yellow pages, and no, not going to work, huh? All right. Well, you might want to do, what else could you do? You could go down and see the concierge. Now, the concierge is a little bit on take with his brother-in-law, who's got a restaurant that isn't working too well, and they got to keep him going. So maybe that's not going to work. Or I'm going to call Neil. I mean, Neil, one, he lives in New York. Two, you heard him say he's in trouble all the time. This guy knows the right restaurants. Certain things people do, the products that you work in, people use networking, word of mouth. They use what they call mavens and connectors and all that stuff that's in the book. It's just fantastic how that works, and it's a great system. So I get into the middle of the net. Get into the middle of your net. Okay, just almost to the end here. Your brand gives you a whole bunch of capabilities. It actually, if you have it in concert with your strategy, and the strategy of exciting windows is so right on the money for this client that you're going after, that it communicates your values and it sets expectations immediately. You heard Steve say with his vision, the best in this country for doing windows will be exciting windows. And Michael Payne's reaction to it I thought was sincere. It really sort of turns, because he's both a client and a supporter. It describes the process. It separates you from your competitors. And in fact, if there are so many competitors out there, you won't get rid of them all with this, but you're going to get them whittled down where they don't have a chance. It supports your reliability. It's the association you have with others. A difference of an individual standing alone or you being with a group. There is a safety factor here. Reliability, safety in that direction. Sets a standard of performance and expectations of quality. I think those things your brand can communicate, the magic of a brand, in a split second. And again, it's this whole thing, separating out of the crowd. You need to separate your client, your customer, that you can do the most valuable for. And when you find that customer where you can do the best job for them, you've eliminated your competitors. I have to just show you this. I ran into this by accident. This is a website. Anybody ever see this before? It's sort of a fun thing. But I wouldn't want to be mixed in the middle of this. You know, this is the way people select stuff. But it's one, and every one is a rollover. So and it goes on for 2 pages of just wanted to communicate what did Len learn on a computer since we've seen you last. But it's called All My Favorites, All My Faves. But as I said, your brand is a valuable and important asset when you match it to your business strategy and your position. And just to show you an example, just to give you one way how I use that, in my last assignment with KWC, we're high-end. I don't care that everybody in the world knows who we were, but I 100% care that the people who will most likely buy my product do know. And in that business, as important as I thought I was, and such a great marketer, I didn't do it. 100% of the business that I received was specified by people like you. 100% of our business was specified by high-end kitchen designers, architects, or interior designers who specialize in kitchens. 100%. Therefore, you had to make things that were communicative items where they appreciate it. And I do a lot of public speaking for those groups. And one of the things I wanted was a way to leave them with a thought that what the future is for all of us is about 3 minutes ahead of us. And I wanted to leave them with a thought about our brand in light of that. So I got a little technical thing here, which I will go to in a second.
Dave.
He did.
At the end, I'm supposed to go up and smoke, but I haven't quite worked that one out.
You can do that for exciting windows feature.
Is there any questions?
I love it.
Did you like that? Does it make the point that I was trying to talk to designers in a way that they want to be talked to? The brand then had a different role than if you were selling something at Home Depot. You know, I mean, just light years difference. And I just wanted, but my point, for, if you know me for the next 100 years, which I'm sort of hoping it works out that way, is always understand the consumer that you're going after, and you own the market. You get rid of your competitors, you'll have the right products, you have the right prices, you'll get